ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. Y'all better listen up. This sports talking tough. So if you got a cup, go on and raise it up. I'll raise one with you as we talk about the sports. It's raining stats and rumors. Let us give you the report. This is first 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back. Looks like we've got a full crew tonight. Beau's probably going to be jumping in. He will probably be in a moving vehicle, like always. But hey, let's get it started. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of ongoings in baseball. Not really much in football, softball. We got a national championship to play for, so let's roll with it. Go ahead and start where you were about to start a second ago, Cole.
So all this talk about Texas carrying SEC, this and that, blah blah. Texas wins the regular season SEC title, okay?
Yep.
Then goes into the SEC tournament, loses their first game, correct? In SEC tournament,
Yeah, think so.
lose their
Yeah.
first game, hosts a regional, rightfully so, and then loses their regional. So my thing is this entire narrative that winning that regular season SEC title was this huge accomplishment, and like Texas is so good, I think just goes out the window at this point. I think Texas is a little overrated. Is that fair to say?
I mean, they have one of the best finishes in SEC history in the past 5 to 10 years. So I wouldn't say that.
Well, they got off to one of the best starts in the history of the conference. The problem
Started very hot.
when they started to sputter, it kind of sputtered. After that
But
A&M series, it went downhill.
They didn't start to sputter until their starting pitcher was gone as well.
Yeah,
They lost two SEC series all year.
Yeah, and then
Right, but then you go into the tournament and you lose the first game of the tournament, and then you lose the regional. So forget SEC. You also lost the regional.
Okay, so how important is the tournament then? Because Vandy won the tournament and lost their regional.
I think the important thing is it doesn't matter.
Bama went far in the tournament and lost their regional.
I think college baseball is like college basketball. If you are a tournament team, the NCAA tournament team, what you do in conference doesn't mean a whole fucking lot.
Yeah, I mean, you said that before we started. You said your exact words were, "Y'all are going to realize how irrelevant that baseball tournament is."
Yeah, like I think in basketball and baseball, the regular season title. For instance, LSU did win the title and did win the regular season and ended the regular season ranked number 1 in the country. I don't think they were the best team in the country, but that's like, I don't think it matters. I will say the narrative I can't get behind that people started saying immediately after the Texas game. I don't know if you did it or not. I didn't. I just saw a lot of it. Was like, we well overachieved this year.
Yeah, that's absolutely. What do you mean? Absolutely.
Just because Paul Feinbaum had you preseason ranked 6, you still ended up being ranked number 1 for a big portion of the year. You ended up being the number 2 overall national seed, and you lost to a school within the whatever you call it of Texas. I think it's a disappointing season at the back end of this. You be the number 2 national seed, not get out of a regional, you could stamp disappointment on that year. You put a big red stamp on it, disappointment.
If you ask any person in the state of Texas, they'll tell you that there's no disappointment about that season. It's arguably one of the best SEC seasons in baseball history.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you didn't win your regional.
5 years.
And you lost to a school in the University of Texas's like program. Like you lost to a state school. I think you have to stay up unsuccessful. Texas is not a program that making a regional is successful.
Who is it? Well, I understand it. I understand it because the ceiling is so high at Texas because they go to Omaha almost every year.
Did y'all not make a regional last year?
Yeah, we made it. No, I don't think we did.
The year before y'all would have went. 2 years ago, y'all would have went to a super regional. If y'all didn't get caught up in the lights, if you remember that play. I want to say last year y'all snuck into a regional. Y'all may not have, but y'all were a bubble team. The narrative of like, well, Paul Feinbaum, whoever it was, had us ranked. Chris Peterson had us ranked as the 8th best SEC team, so we way overachieved. To me, it's crazy talk because.
How's it crazy talk? Go back to our beginning episode.
You weren't the worst team in the country last year. You
No
almost
one
played
said
for a
we were
super
the worst.
regional 2 years
No
ago.
one, no one said we were the worst country last year, but no one had expectations of what Texas did this year whatsoever. They had arguably one of the best SEC seasons, period, with a brand new coach, his first
Yeah,
year coaching the
yeah.
team.
But didn't when
Go
you
back and
played
watch it.
games that mean nothing.
I think
Hold
what
on. Let me
happens
finish
at the end
talking.
is way bigger than
Hold on.
that.
Go back and look at the beginning of when we started covering baseball. The exact words were, "I have no idea what this baseball team's going to do. We got a lot of young people. I don't know what's going to happen with it."
But
To go on and have a season that they've had is unbelievable. You know,
to be in this,
you can't ask
to,
anybody. You can ask anybody that
let me ask you
remotely
this:
watches it.
Would you count Vanderbilt's season as underwhelming? It's disappointing.
I don't know what was their overall record. What did they finish with? What was their
They were
overall
the number
SEC
one
record?
overall national seed,
Okay,
and they
because it's
lost
turned
in
to
the
placement.
region.
What was their overall record?
They were the number one overall national seed. I don't know how else to make it clear that they were a really good regular season team.
Okay, what did they succeed off of that regular season? Did they win
That's
their
what I'm
comp?
saying. So you
Did they
would
win
pin
it?
it as that's a
Did they
disappointment.
win their conference? Did they win their conference? They won their
But
conference
it
tournament. They
doesn't
didn't win their
matter.
conference. How does it not matter? You just said the conference title doesn't matter, but the conference the conference
That's
tournament
what I'm
doesn't
saying.
matter,
It
but the
doesn't
conference
matter.
title is.
You just said. How are you going to say it doesn't matter? You just said it doesn't matter. That's
No,
exactly
you
what
said the
I'm saying.
conference.
The same thing.
Your exact words were the SEC tournament doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Okay,
What I'm saying though is the totality of the season, Texas and Vanderbilt both put up enough of a resume to be the number one and number two overall national seeds in the
I think
tournament.
computer went wrong.
Look, here's
Neither
my
of them
thing.
made it out of the regional.
No matter how you slice it, look, Texas had a great regular season. We all agree on that. That's good. But I think if you look at this season, you look at what happened in that SEC tournament, whether it matters or not, you lose the first game of the SEC tournament when you had a double bye, then you lose your regional that you were hosting. I think you look back at it and you're like, this was kind of a disappointment.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any world where anybody looks back at that and is like, this was a hell of a great season. This was successful. This is right where we want to be. That's just ridiculous in my opinion.
I
At
agree.
the end of the day, postseason is what matters. As a fan, as a coach, as a program, all of it. Postseason is what matters. Postseason, unfortunately, at Texas just kind of shit the bed. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not
that
A
gonna.
just
I'm
lot of
is what
not.
it
schools did,
is.
right? It's
Yeah,
the most
Yeah,
international
Bama did too.
side of things.
I'm not saying it was just Texas. I'm just saying all year we've been talking about how Texas had this great regular season. So I'll be honest, I thought they'd be in Omaha, but here
I
we
did too.
are,
I
and they're
did too.
not.
I really thought they'd be an Omaha team, especially when I saw that regional layout. I thought they'd better get through that thing. I just
Yeah, I
think
thought
when
they
you
had a
look
good
at it, I
draw.
think every national seed that didn't get out of their regional, you have to put the stamp of disappointment on it because you earned a national seed and you didn't get out of a tournament that you hosted.
I don't know about every single one because I don't know. I don't know enough of the teams to go team by team saying this and this. But I think Vanderbilt, you look at it, you're like, that's a disappointment. And I think Texas for sure. You look at it, you say that's a disappointment. Just
I
my
think you
opinion.
look at Ole Miss. Ole Miss lost to the 4 seed in
Yeah,
theirs.
yeah.
That's a disappointment, right? I think you look. I think if you earn the right to host a regional and you don't get out of it, it's kind of a disappointment because it's always going to be we did enough to position ourselves to at least get to the supers. We put ourselves in the best place possible to get to the supers, and we didn't.
I mean, look, I look at Bama, and I think it's a disappointment. I mean, this is 2 years in a row now losing in the regional. We didn't host. I get that. We got a pretty good draw. We had Miami, Southern Miss, and fucking Columbia, and we lost that regional. I don't think this whole idea of it was a disappointment. I think it's ridiculous because I don't see how it can't be a disappointment.
what's there to be disappointed about when we weren't? Nobody was expecting this from this team whatsoever.
What there's to be disappointed about though is
But
that you entered postseason play as a team that had you were going to host a regional and a super regional. Only 16 teams get to host a regional, and only 8 teams get to host a super regional. You were a team that if you just won, you were going to get there, and you didn't. You didn't get out of it. So
So
therefore,
yeah,
it's a disappointment. Ain't like I think this. If you'd have asked a Texas fan in April when Chris Philly came out and said, our guy Chris came out and said, is Texas peaking too soon? And people exploded and were like, we haven't lost an SEC series yet, yada, yada, yada. I think if you'd have told people in that moment, if somebody would have came out and said, I think Texas is going to lose to UTSA in the regionals, people would have been like, you're crazy. That's lunatic talk, yada, yada, yada. That's how I think it becomes a disappointment. I think whatever people thought in January is irrelevant now because you played 60 games. And in 60 games, you turned out to be the second best team in the country in the committee's eyes. Is how they viewed it, and you didn't advance. You're not You're not one of the last 16 teams playing. Therefore, I think you have to look at it as at the very least a what if season, which to me is next to disappointing.
I mean, that's how y'all view it. You ask any Texas fan, they're going to tell you straight up, it was not a disappointing season. They overachieved by a mile.
Well,
They won the
Texas fans
SEC
also
and they
also
won
the same one to tell you about a regular season win against Bama. Like,
the
I mean, we don't.
the
You can ask
see now
Vanderbilt
you're
fans.
fishing now you're fishing to get Cole on your side to back you up with that
Oh,
comment. That's
you
exactly
can
what
ask
that was.
any.
That's
You,
100% what that was. The fact is this:
no,
Texas
Texas
had
fans are
one of the
notorious for twisting a narrative.
Had the best one of the best SEC seasons period with a first year
And
coach,
you
which
didn't
was
get out of your.
unexpected from everyone. From everyone, no one expected that. As much as you want to say people ranked them this or ranked them that, you ask any Texas baseball fan, no one's going to tell you, "Oh yeah, they're going to have the most successful SEC season in the past 5 years." No one would have told you that whatsoever, including the
Yeah,
head coach.
yeah, but you're acting like Texas is Arkansas Little Rock. Like if
When
you
did I
ask
say that?
anybody that
No one
watches
said that.
college
No,
baseball, if you've been like, "Hey, Texas is going to be
you're
a
saying
regional
no.
host," they're
You're
a
saying
national power in the sport.
no one said we weren't, but you're sitting there saying, "Oh, this is a disappointing season because y'all
It
didn't win
is.
the Super." We
There's
weren't supposed to fucking win the
unequivocally a disappointing
SEC.
outcome for the year.
We weren't supposed to
So,
win the SEC. Period. Especially with a brand new coach. What are
It
you
is an
talking about?
unequivocal. Your coach just won, came runner up in a national title at an SEC school in the same state you were in.
Was it
Like
for
you didn't.
Texas?
This isn't a
Was it
no
for
name
Texas?
coach, and you're not
Was
a
it with
no name
Texas's
coach.
roster? Was it with Texas's roster? No, it was not. It was with a completely different roster. He had a
It doesn't.
completely different pitching staff.
Your
Completely
head
different.
coach has been to Omaha multiple times with multiple different schools. Like the
I'm
idea
not
that
saying he
Texas was
isn't.
good is not this shocker. Everybody kind of thought they would be okay. People might have thought they'd win the SEC, but they thought for
Oh
sure
yeah,
they were
exactly.
in
So
regional.
you sitting there saying them winning the SEC is not going above
The outcome of the
expectations is
season is
crazy.
unequivocally a disappointment. It's
Pete,
To
not even
you,
debated.
to
Pete?
you, to
What
you,
were your expectations? What were your expectations this year? Did
dude.
you
I
think
thought
y'all
they were
would
going to
host
be.
a regional?
Honestly, not true. I thought they were going to be
Huh.
a middle of the road team. I didn't think they were going to host the regional. I didn't think they were going to do any of that. I thought they were going to be a middle of the road team with a first year coach, hands down, hands
This
down.
All right,
first coach thing is
all right.
crazy. Sauce is one of the best coaches in the country, and everybody knew that when you hired him.
But to sit here and say he was going to be able to turn over the roster in the way he did was expected is fucking crazy,
But
crazy.
what? But my thing is, wasn't Texas good last year in baseball?
Yeah,
No, they were mediocre.
look it up right now. Did Texas make a
That's
regional
why
last?
they fired our fucking head
Did
coach.
they make a regional last year? Is what I'm asking. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about were they a one seed overall in the nation. I'm talking
Did
about did they host a regional? Did they make a regional?
if
No,
you made a regional,
we lost to A&M in our regional.
so you made a regional last year. That's what I'm saying. Like you made the tournament last year, so this year the
So
fact that
making
you
a
made
re-
the
so
tournament
making
again
so
and hosted and
okay.
didn't win the regional is a disappointment. There's
So
no
you're
other way
saying
to look at it.
so you're saying if you make a regional, you're a good. That means you're a great. Your expectations for your team should have always been high because you made a regional.
Yeah, I think if
No,
you
I
make a
think
regional,
they
you
should
would
be
expect the
that you
next
would at
year.
least make a regional.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you this:
Little Rock
if
made the regional with 23 wins. What are y'all talking about?
because they
Little
won their
Rock just
conference
made the
tournament, they
regional
had
with
an auto
23
bid.
wins.
Completely different. Completely
They had
different.
an auto bid.
No,
You
it's
made the
not.
regional.
You can't
Totally different.
change
It's
the narrative and say,
completely
"Oh, if you make
different.
a
An
regional,
auto
you're
bid.
good." But then, oh wait, no, it's a
Yeah,
completely
in the
different narrative.
last time Little Rock made a regional was 2015 or whatever. It's way different. It's the same argument as if Clemson this year hosts a playoff game and loses, you look at it as a disappointment. Last year they made the playoffs. This year they would host if they lost. You go, that's a disappointing year. Like Texas has been a regional team now for at least 3 years in a row because I know they made one in 23 because they had the ball got lost in the lights and they lost. They should have went to a super that year. Last year, they lost to a team that ended up playing for the national championship. So they had a regional group last year. A lot of those guys are still on the roster. You bring in a coach that's been to Omaha multiple times. You end up earning your way to hosting a regional, and you don't make it out. Unequivocally, a disappointment. It's got to be looked at as that.
Yeah,
There's no other
you
way to
can.
view it.
Well, I guarantee you, no one's looking at it as a disappointment whatsoever.
I would think
Which
most
is
people
which
outside of the universe
which is
are in the same boat as Cole and I.
And that's what matters, because y'all's opinion doesn't. Y'all can't define the season of how the fans take it. That's like Cole's buddy going,
I
"Oh,
mean, I
he's
can
not
look at
crashing out.
sports
He's a
and go,
casual because he doesn't crash
so,
out." Like, that's so stupid. If we don't throw a fit, or if we're not mad, if we don't think
so,
that our
so then
season
with
isn't
that logic, though,
unachievable, it's
you can't
fucking
have a
crazy.
take on
Like, come
anybody
on.
but Texas. So with that take, though, you can't have a take on anybody but Texas.
No, you sitting here saying, "Oh, y'all can't say that y'all overachieved with what y'all did." What are you talking about? How can we
You
not say
can't.
we
Well,
overachieved?
because
We had a
I mean, you
fucking
can.
brand new year
And
one
don't get me
coach
wrong.
taking over a baseball team. That's the dumbest shit possible. Oh,
This
you
is
can't say you overachieved when you won the SEC, when your first year in the SEC with a brand new coach, with a new roster. What are you
and
on
then got
crack?
bounced in a regional at your place to a school that's in the same. It's the same whatever you call it as Texas. It's a Texas state school. It is
Which is one
unequivocally.
of the best schools in the nation right now in baseball. Don't
There,
let's not overlook that factor. They're one of the best
hold up,
schools in.
hold up.
They're one of
You
the
would have
best
never
schools in
said
the
that.
nation.
You would if you'd have said that on Thursday, I'd have been like, okay, deal, Pete. You
Cole,
might have said
what?
they're good. You'd have never been like UTSA is one of the best teams in the country, which is just
Cole,
what
what did
came
I
out of
say?
your.
What did I say when we were on here with Chris Philly? Did I not say UTSA worries me?
You said,
Yeah, no, I
you
mean,
said good,
yeah,
yeah.
and rightfully so. I
I'm
mean,
not.
I said I thought UTSA could win that regional as well. Doesn't mean that
UTSA is
I
really,
thought
they're
it would
really
happen for
good.
sure. I mean,
UTSA is really good. I think UTSA is really good, and I think they got a matchup in which is going to be tough.
well, and I guess we'll find out. Look, if UTSA goes on and wins their super, then I think we'll have a whole different conversation next
I
week
agree.
of being like, maybe it's not Texas, maybe it's UTSA. That maybe this is less about Texas, more about UTSA. But I stand by what I said. I've got my point across. I mean, it is what it is at this point.
We can talk about the regional now. We can just get in the regional.
Yeah, I mean, whatever y'all want to do is fine with me. But I've
I
said
watched.
my piece on it.
I think I watched.
I do understand Pete's point of like we're not Texas fans, so like it's not necessarily fair for us to claim it as a disappointment. But also at the same time, like we're on here talking sports, so I feel like we all kind of make takes about
Yeah,
lots of teams that we aren't fans of.
I mean, for instance, if LSU,
To be clear, I don't think it's unfair of me, Buddha, Beau, anybody to come on here and say, I think I look at this season for Texas as a disappointment. I think that's just part of what we're doing here.
same way I view Vandy's as a disappointment. The same way if
I do
LSU would
too.
have lost.
I said I view Bama's as a disappointment. I mean, I said from the beginning of the year, I wanted to win a regional and be in a super, or at least host a regional, and we did neither. Anyway, moving on. What's next?
When regional.
Unless y'all got more to say. If y'all got more to say, go ahead.
I mean, I just think back, not even like talking about disappointment or not. I think Texas's bugaboo caught him. I think same thing happened with Vandy. I think the bats just didn't show up when they had to. Like if we just want to get like an actual regional talk, I think
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
UTSA when I watched them play the night before, so that was what Saturday night. That was a game where like, oh, this team's insanely. They're veteran, they're experienced, they play baseball the right way. It's like you're gonna have to beat them. They're not gonna hand it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Texas's bugaboo this year's kind of been the offense, and it showed up right when you did not need it to show up. You
Yeah.
ran into a buzzsaw of a team that just they weren't going to fold in the moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, and I mean, Bama's kind of, I'm going to say similar, but not really similar. Texas is way better than Bama this year. That's a fact. But Bama all year kept leaving runners on base. I would love to know our percentage for hits when you have runners in scoring position because it was fucking atrocious. Um, SC tournament obviously was a disappointment, and then you get the regional. You get a pretty good draw: Miami, Southern Miss, and Columbia. Game one against Miami was inches away from being a totally different game. If Bryce Fowler catches that first hit against the fence, they don't score 2 runs there. I think Riley Quick has a completely different game on the mound. I think it all goes a lot better for us. But again, that's just part of life. It's part of what it is. And then, late in that game, obviously, Cade Snell hits a fucking rocket to the fence. I mean, 2 feet and the ball's gone. 6 inches and it's probably not caught. So you at least tie the game. That was a tough one. And then you play Southern Miss. Tyler Fay goes up there. He pitches a hell of a game. I think he had like 4, 5, maybe 6 strikeouts. Um, but unfortunately, it was just kind of a game of homers. You gave up a couple early homers. We exchanged home runs with them a few times, which was good. The bats were there, but late in the game, you just kind of I don't know. It's tough to swallow it whenever you put in Carson Osmer, who's the best relief pitcher in the nation, arguably, and he comes in and I mean just doesn't have a good outing. Ends up getting two guys on base, no out, or two guys on base, one out. So then you intentionally walk a guy, and then I mean the next guy's I think 0 for fucking 10 or something in the regional so far. Goes up there and just hits a perfect shot in the outfield. Obviously, they scored 2 runs off of it. We ended up getting out of that inning, and then, I mean, the rest was history. We did get to bat top of the ninth, but we didn't do shit. I mean, I think, pretty sure Bryce Fowler, again, swings at the first pitch of that bat, grounds out. Justin LeBron strikes out swinging, and then Kate Snell hits another rocket, but unfortunately at the wall, caught again. Justin LeBron late in the season just too up and down, man. I mean, I know there's a lot of hype around him, so I know that's like some of this is kind of unfair. But I mean, dude, when you're the superstar, like sometimes you just gotta show up and put your dick on the table.
Is he
I
a
mean, come
freshman?
on, man. He's a
And the kid's a
sophomore.
freshman. I thought he was a freshman. I thought he
I
was.
thought he was.
He's
Sophomore.
a sophomore.
Or is it the first year
Sophomore.
starter?
He's a sophomore this year. He played
Is it?
last year.
They did. I say sometimes young guys back into the year, guys pick the scouting reports get them, and they just have a hole in their swing that coach can just attack.
Yeah, I mean, look, and like I will say defensively, I didn't see him make a single mistake all year, and I watched a good bit of games, obviously. One thing that stuck out to me, and I'll let y'all kind of hit on this too. And in the game against Miami, I mean, Bama was struggling. Riley Quick was struggling at the mound, but Bama would go up to bat. I mean, it seemed like every fucking at bat, swing at the very first pitch. Sometimes you get a good shot and you end up being an out or whatever. But I'm like, in my mind, give your pitcher time to recover. Take a couple pitches if you have to, like slow down the at bats, and that's where Rob Vaughn comes into play. There's a lot of heat on Rob Vaughn right now in the Bama community because it's 2 years in a row losing a regional, 2 years in a row of what seems like the same issues of these at bats being so quick. I mean, I'm talking like some of these half innings were like 5 minutes. I mean, that can't happen when you got a pitcher out there that just threw 30 pitches in the first inning. So all in all, look, I said it. I'll say it again. I think it was a disappointing season for Bama. Had a lot of wins left out there in the regular season. I think we could have made a bigger run in the regional and hopefully in the super. But end of the day, just too inconsistent all year.
So I just looked it up because we were talking about it earlier on the phone. And literally right before we got on, Justin LeBron announces he is not transferring and he will play for the Crimson Tide in 2025.
Makes sense.
As of right now.
Love to hear it.
Now.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, look, and Pete, it's like I told you, he does a lot of stuff on campus, which I mean, I know y'all don't see. I mean, Pete, you might see some of it because I share a lot of it, but he does a lot on campus. He does like collabs with Ryan Williams every now and then. Bama's kind of in a spot athletically where you have Ryan Williams and Justin LeBron, two phenom superstars who are both very young. Justin LeBron's a sophomore now. Ryan Williams is going to be a sophomore. I think Justin LeBron's one of those players you don't let leave. I think you do everything you can to keep him. I think it helps build the program, Pete, like you said on the phone. And I think Justin LeBron's a guy who wants to be there. I think he wants to help build the program. He knows that he's leaving after next year. He knows he's going to be a very high draft pick. So hats off to him for staying. If he does fully stay, but it's early. We'll see.
I'd be stunned.
I mean,
You'd be stunned.
Yeah, I mean they're a regional team. They're a regional team in the best conference in the sport. They're like Cole mentioned. Like you look back at the games and they're not that far away from playing this weekend, right? Like I get going like, hey, I'm gonna ride this thing out because like. Also, you got to look at this. There's not a lot. You got to look at programs where he would fit in. Like, hey, do you fit into the coaching style? And is there a spot on the field,
right,
that you think your draft stock would benefit from going to? Can you like? So like that's the other thing. So like I'd be stunned if he left. Like because again, next year he's going to be the premier player in a program that all year this year was a top 25 team. So he's a premier player in a top 25 program. I think I'd be shocked if he's not out.
Yeah, I mean, my thing with it, and this is what I told Pete, is
If they change
Right,
coach,
right,
that gets thrown out the window.
right. My thing, and this is what I told Pete, is like I can see it going either way. And if he did leave, I can't really fault him if he goes somewhere and wants to win a national championship. I mean, there's a lot of schools with a lot better chance right now, obviously. Um, but I do, I do appreciate him staying. Obviously, it makes
Yeah,
me pretty
yeah.
happy.
Like we talked about it, and I joked about it with you pretty much all season. Every time he would make a good play, I would text you and say, "Hey, this kid's gonna look great in burnt orange next year," because he would fit in Texas' scheme perfectly. Justin Flores is leaving. He'd fit right in that shortstop spot. That's the number one jersey that he's wearing at Bama. Just change it to burnt orange. But I also said if he stays at Bama, I could see it because he wants to be a legacy guy. He would start his legacy there. I mean, his legacy's already at Bama, but him staying there would just make that even more. He'd be the standout player.
Yeah,
He's poised to be the number one pick in the next year's draft. So I mean, whoever if he does leave, whoever gets him is going to throw bank at him, and that's going to be possibly that, and the opportunity to win a national championship is going to be reason he leaves. But like we both said, we could see him staying, and we could see him leaving. Um,
yeah,
we both said if he does stay, that's just a credit to him as an
yeah.
individual wanting to
Good
stay
character.
on that ball team and win some games. Um, what else we got regional wise? Or you want to move on to the next topic?
I don't know if y'all saw the call with Wright State and Vandy on Friday night. That's one of the worst calls I've ever seen.
I did not.
Did
So
not see.
Wright State was better than Vanderbilt this weekend. So they beat them on Sunday. They were better than them on Friday, and they should have beat them on Friday. So Wright State had the lead. Vandy hits a home run down the line that they call foul on the field. They call foul. Vandy's coach Tim Corbin comes out, calls for the cans. Let's look at it. Umpires get together, overturn the call, and go, actually, we think it was a home run. Call it a home run. So then the Wright State coach comes out and goes, you didn't even fucking review it. So review it. So he calls for the review. They go in to review it and go, we don't have a good angle to see it on TV, so the call stands, home run. And I'm at the bar watching it going like, how the fuck does a guy ask for a review? You don't even go look, you just decide. And then you don't have video evidence to prove anything.
That's crazy.
Wright State ends up losing off that moment. Because I think Wright State, I really believe this. If they don't get that call, I think Wright State wins that regional.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. It's as many cameras there are out there. You'd think they'd have that. I did have
Yeah,
one more thing. The whole thing with the Florida coach. I mean, what a fucking shit show that was, huh? So look, I don't even really know what he was bitching about. I really don't even care. The dude's yelling at a staffer at Coastal Carolina, right? That's where they
yeah,
were. At Coastal, he's yelling at a staffer or a guy who works in NCAA. Either way, you can tell this guy's young. The guy's just sitting there taking his ass whipping, which, sometimes you just got to do that in life. And then he goes out and it goes at him again, clearly yelling a lot of vulgarities, not being very nice at all. And then he goes to his press conference and doubles down, saying like, "Yeah, I told him this, and this, blah blah." Look, man, I don't know Florida's coach very well at all, but if you're gonna do something like that and be a dick on all when you know they got all these cameras around you, and then double down on it and act like you did nothing wrong, I think you really need to look in the mirror and be like, hey, like what can I do better as a fucking human being here? Because I thought that was just a
he
pitiful look for the University of Florida, and that's why literally the few hours later, University of Florida put out this big long statement saying how like, oh we don't condone this blah blah. And it puts everybody in a really, 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 really pitiful spot when you act like that, in my opinion.
yeah, he's kind of known to be polarizing. A lot of people think he's a shitbag. I don't love his personality. I think he's a really good baseball coach. I think he's kind of a douche.
Yeah,
But like
I agree.
that's kind of Sully. Like it's not like that was. I put it this way: anybody who's like familiar with Kevin O'Sullivan, that's not an unexpected thing that took place.
Yeah, well, I think he's a piece of shit, and I'll stand by that.
No, I don't. I'm in the same boat as you. I just think he's a really good baseball coach. I don't think I'd like him as a dude at all. We probably need to touch on LSU losing to Little Rock on Sunday.
Hey,
Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
I was gonna address it because I know all my DBU haters on Twitter have been hitting me up. We thank you for the engagement. It's been great. I was wrong. I picked the wrong underdog. I should have went with Little Rock because Little Rock played their ass off and almost pulled off the upset, but it didn't happen. LSU was just too good whenever they needed to be and ended up winning it. But holy shit, Little Rock, like you said, like where did that come from? They get boat raced the first time they play LSU, play them again, and it's like, whoa, who is this team? Then last
Well,
night they were leading for a good majority of the game, and it's like, here comes LSU digging back to get back in it, and they pull away late. It's like
Their season, the Little Rock season's like a tale of two halves. They were pretty solid early on. So like they went to Ole Miss and beat Ole Miss. Like they were pretty solid, and then they went on a skid where they lost 13-14 to end it. And it really, I mean, like, you lose 13 games at the back end of your season, you're right, going to be a shit show. They basically snuck their way into their conference tournament. I think they had some injury concerns. So Angel Cano, however you say his name, went unconscious. He was the best player in America this weekend. He finished with 16 RBIs or something ridiculous. He just was on fire. I don't know if he was injured during that skid, what it was. They did a couple things well, and LSU struggled simultaneously. So did DBU when they played. Little Rock threw a shit ton of strikes, didn't make errors, and they put the ball in play. They didn't really strike out, which makes them a really tough team to beat. And then LSU walked 11 guys on Sunday. You walk 11 guys, the game should have been more out of hand. They should have lost 15-4. Because I think 8 of the 11 guys they walked scored.
yeah,
Which is baseball. That happens. Why did LSU get back in the game last night? They put a pitcher in who struck out 8 in a row. So they threw a shit ton of strikes. And all of a sudden you go, oh, strikes matter. When you throw strikes, good shit happens. It doesn't matter that you throw 97. Throw strikes, good shit.
That's the same shit Miami did against Bama. The dude, I think at one point, 31 of his first 35 pitches were all strikes. I mean,
it's such a thing that, like, that's why some of these small schools like us, their pitchers just got in there and threw a ton of strikes, and they just
simplify the game. Simplify the game, right?
They just
throw strikes, play defense.
They just went, we're not gonna make errors, and we're not gonna walk you. So everything you get, you're gonna have to earn, which is hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're throwing 88; it's still hard to get hits. There's 9 guys, like, it's tough to do it. I think LSU's better positioned for a super regional than they are a regional. LSU got 2 of the best pitchers in the country.
Yeah.
I don't think they're concerned to the super. The concern would be if they get to game 3.
Well, and that's my thing too, is the way all these regionals got played out, where you had all these big upsets and shit. Like, now, I think some of these supers are going to be a bloodbath. I really do. And I think LSU is going to be one of them. I'm not trying to early call it, but I really do. I mean, I think they're going to be able to pitch whoever they want for those first 2 games, and they are going to just. I think they're going to fucking dog walk West Virginia, personally, but we'll see.
What are some good matchups? We got Arizona.
Well, I think Tennessee, Arkansas play, I believe.
It's going to be an electric factory. I
hope Tennessee loses by about 1,000 each game. But, I mean, look, it's going to be fun to watch regardless.
I think Murray State's got a real chance against Duke. What a draw, like, to get that one. Like, last year, Evansville got Tennessee, and it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Murray State got Duke, and you're like, wait, hold up. This is still well on the table to keep this train pushing.
No, that's one of the ones that's like, there's a good possibility that Duke could be going home.
And, like, UTSA got UCLA. Like, that kind of sucks for them. What's another? There's one more that's a good one. Oh, North Carolina, Arizona. Should be a pretty solid.
North Carolina had a good one.
That should be a solid super.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I'm kind of iffy on what's going to happen with LSU West Virginia. But fuck it, give me West Virginia. I think West Virginia's going to roll.
Knew that was coming.
Fuck it. I picked DBU. Might as well stick with it. I think.
Post the graphic.
I'd like to name one West Virginia baseball player.
I can't name them, but I know this. I know fucking if Little Rock gave LSU fucking a handful, that some other teams are going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, well,
LSU got exposed for 2 things, and that's that they have 2 pitchers and 2 pitchers only. There's 3 games to be played, so we'll see how it comes out.
I think I texted you all that today or yesterday. Super regionals are easier to win than regionals because, again, if you are a school with 2 pitchers, Guess what? You only got to win 2 games. So if you go out and dominate 2 games, you're playing in Omaha.
Yeah. But Little Rock took him to 3, so we'll see if West Virginia can take him to 3.
Little Rock
West
played them in
Virginia,
there.
West Virginia is a lot better ball club than Little Rock. So
Yeah,
we'll see
but
how it plays out.
I know, and look, I get that you're just being a troll. That's kind of who you are. Uh,
Be soft.
but
Yeah,
but
exactly,
what I'm saying
exactly.
is
Why would I
you
pick?
are
Wait, no, no,
ignoring
no,
the
no, no,
argument.
no. It wouldn't
You're ignoring the
me
argument. You're
picking
ignoring what I just
me
said.
me picking against LSU isn't being a troll. Why would I flip up and be like, oh wait, now I'm going to pick LSU now? Fuck no, I'm not going to pick them. I picked against them
Because you
before.
did it because you
I didn't
thoroughly
think they could.
enjoyed the interactions with
I didn't
Twitter
think
when
they
you
could
picked
win their.
the
I didn't think they could win their regional. Why would I want to think they can win their
So
super regional
you're
just
just
because they're
riding on
playing?
the high. But here's the you're not look, I'm okay with you picking West Virginia. But the argument you're making doesn't make a ton of sense with bringing up the Little Rock games because LSU's first 2 games they didn't give up a run. And in a regional, if you got 2 elite pitchers, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you get. It doesn't matter if your 5th game you're not good on the mound. You don't have to play that
Yeah,
many.
but all it takes is one off night. That's all it
I agree.
takes.
No, I agree. It's not that far fetched, but the idea of like Little Rock did this to him, it's like, yeah, those guys ain't going to be pitching unless shit
I'll
goes
put it to
down.
you this way. I think LSU was a 6-run favorite, and their money line was minus 2,100 against Little Rock in that last game on Monday.
Yeah,
And
no, no.
and Little Rock led that game for a little while. just to,
Yeah, again,
just to
it's
throw
the
that out there.
problem. The difference is though is the guys who threw against Little Rock outside of Case and Evans, the guy who threw last night and struck eight out in a row. Those guys more than likely will not see innings in the first 2 games of the regional. If you get to the 3rd game, you're in trouble, which is what I said. I think LSU wins the regional, they win it in 2. If they get to 3, it's a real problem. The problem is the first 2 guys are as good as it gets in the country right now.
It's fair.
So I don't think the Little Rock argument of what happened Sunday night is like. I don't know if you can look at the 2 things as equals because those guys.
I don't think they're equal, but I think you can definitely use it as an argument. To be clear,
Why wouldn't you? You're using their 2 first games the LSU played as an argument, but not their 2 last.
right.
Because if you
Like,
win 2 in a super regional, you play in Omaha. I don't know how else to make that more clear to you. If you win the first 2 games in a super, you play in
but
Omaha.
they're
You have to win
playing
3,
they're playing different competition. They're playing
but
better
you have to win
competitions.
3 to win a regional. So you have to, regardless,
No
get to the
shit,
3rd game.
Sherlock. You're
Well,
sitting there
then
trying
what
to
the fuck
explain
are
it to
you
us
not
like we don't
getting the
know.
first? You just
You're
asked
saying
how am I using the first 2? Because if you win the first 2, you advance. If you win the first 2 in a
the
regional,
whole
guess
thing I
what,
said
bud?
is
You got to
fucking
play
West
the fucking
Virginia
3rd
isn't
game
Little Rock.
regardless.
West Virginia is not Little Rock. I said that, and you're like, you could use Little Rock as an argument. Why?
Because
Little Rock is
LSU
not a
played
better
Little Rock
baseball
in
team
their
than
home
West
and beat the
Virginia.
shit out of them.
What happened when they played them
LSU
again?
played
They
Little Rock
lost.
with their 1, and they beat they beat the shit out of them.
What happened in
They
the
beat them
second game?
17-0.
What happened in the second game? They lost. What
They
happened in
had
the
to
third game?
throw
They
their
struggled
game 3
to fucking
pitcher. I
win.
don't
You
know.
think
Are you
West Virginia's
sick
gonna
in the
fucking
fucking
not play
head?
their best players just because of fucking what LSU did to Little Rock and they did in their first 2 games? West Virginia don't give a fuck. They're going out to play and win the game.
I'm glad. I understand West Virginia's going to try to win. I got that. Thanks, genius. That's real
You're the
groundbreaking
one trying
shit
to
to bring to
explain
the
fucking
table.
super regionals to us like we don't watch fucking baseball.
You motherfucker, you don't know what you're talking about. You said, how am I going to use the first 2? And you're using game 3. They played Little Rock in the first game with their
You
ace,
just
and
said
they
Little
fucking
Rock's. You
beat the
said
shit out of them.
you said you can't use Little Rock's games against West Virginia. You can't
You
compare the two. That makes no sense. They fucking won, and then you say, oh well, if
but
you
you
look at
can't go.
LSU's first 2 games, look what they did.
Little Rock
Makes
gave
no
them
fucking
issues, so West
sense.
Virginia definitely will. It's different guys playing.
No shit, Sherlock.
So
That's
then
why
what
I
the
picked
fuck are
West
you
Virginia
talking
because they're a
about?
better team than fucking Little Rock, and Little Rock took fucking LSU to the fucking wire.
Once LSU had to get deep into the bullpen, you can win a super regional without ever really getting into your bullpen. LSU can realistically throw 4 guys this weekend and make Omaha. I'm okay with you picking West Virginia. I think your reasoning makes no sense. Is where I stand on this. Because you're
You
just being
think
a troll, and I get it, and I
no? You
respect the
think I'm
hustle
picking?
on
You think
views,
I'm
but that's all we're doing here. That's all you're
think I'm
doing is
picking?
trying to get views, because this is going to get clipped, and I know it will, and I respect the hustle on views, but that's all you're doing. Because if you had a real argument, you would bring real topics to the table.
My real argument is West Virginia's a better fucking team than fucking Little Rock. And you're sitting there going, oh, you're using what Little Rock did. If Little Rock can do it with their fucking sorry fucking team they have compared to a team that won fucking 40 games just like LSU did, yeah, I'm going to go with the other team that won 40 games.
Yeah,
Point
okay.
blank
I
and
guess we're
simple.
just gonna, but I guess we're gonna ignore the 2 games LSU played with their 1 and 2
you just
and
told me we got
for
to ignore the games that
19-0.
fucking that Little Rock did. You said they didn't matter. Oh, you can't use those games. You can't use those. It's
I
your
can
exact
use the
words.
games that the 1 and 2 pitchers threw.
Oh my fucking god.
Dude, I mean, it's a fucking idiot conversation we're having. Like, what you're talking about, it's just being a troll, and I'm okay with it. Just own it.
I'm picking a better team that I think is gonna fucking beat them. What are you fucking? How's that being a troll?
Your logic doesn't make sense, though. You're going, well, they had a lead in the 4th game of the regional, so I think West Virginia can get it.
That's not why I fucking picked them. I said I
table.
picked them from the get-go because they have a better fucking team as a whole than fucking Little Rock. All you heard was fucking, oh, well, look what Little Rock did. That's all you heard.
Did LSU not play Little Rock with their ace on the mound and beat them 7-0? The game was never close at any point. Did that not happen? Did that not happen?
Yes, it happened. Did Little Rock not beat them the next time they played?
With LSU's game 4 starter.
Don't make excuses. Did they not beat them? Did they not beat them? Did they not beat Cole? Who beat them?
LSU's game
Cole,
4
who beat them?
starter. They threw Zach
Cole, who beat
Howard,
him?
who is their game 4 starter.
Cole, who won the
That's
second
what
game?
happened.
Cole, who won the second game?
Zach Cowan will not start a game against West Virginia. He will not start a game even if they get to game 3. Zach Cowan is LSU's number 4 starter. He is their midweek guy. He will not pitch against West Virginia.
Hey, Cole, who won that second game?
It's a bullpen. It's a bullpen showing. He will not start a game.
That's all I need to know. That's all I need.
Would you ask? Would you ask? Speak up. Would you ask?
That's all I needed to know. We can move on. What's the next subject?
I don't give a fuck, dude. This is stupid, man. Because you don't have an argument. I just told you that guy. The game they lost, he will not start a game in the supers. Even if they get to 3, Kason Evans will start. Kason Evans is the game 3 starter for LSU. He started against Tennessee. That game they won in game 3. Cade Anderson and Anthony Iacin had 0 issues in the regional against the team that you're using as the argument. Cade Anderson or Anthony Iacin, they threw a shutout. They won 7-0. So yes, I think it's a crazy argument to say LSU's 4th game starter struggled, and they walked again. They gave up 8 unearned runs in a game that they lost 10-4. I think it's a massive difference when that guy will not throw an inning. If he does, it's bullpen innings. He will not start a game. That's a massive difference in what's transpiring. It's a mega difference. It's different teams.
Which is why I picked West Virginia. I respect from the get-go for what I said.
I think your reasoning is dumb and it's just being a troll.
You keep saying my reasoning, and you're not hearing my reasoning is they have a better roster than Little Rock.
That's your reason was LSU struggled with Little Rock, and I'm telling you that
when did I say that? I said they have a better fucking roster.
This is crazy, man.
Jesus Christ.
This is fucking crazy.
Moving on.
Bring up the fucking topic. What is it?
Welcome to the pod, Beau.
Jesus Christ.
I got my eats, don't worry.
How are you feeling about the NBA Finals, Beau?
Well, so I mean, just from I wouldn't even say really research. It's just from seeing all the different analysts and things on X, Instagram, my Facebook groups I'm in, things like that. Everyone thinks the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to come in and sweep the Pacers. That's not happening. We've heard it. The last 3 series they've played, Pacers are underdogs. Pacers are shit. Pacers are bad. They're getting beat. We just heard that with the Knicks, and what they do, they beat them at home, and then they lost one in New York, but still, they ended up coming out, showed that they can play with some, bigger market teams, and stay up with them. So my only fear, though, with this Oklahoma City Thunder team, they have some dogs on defense off their bench. However, that can be battled with. They don't have a lot of offensive power off their bench. You're relying on a bunch of streaky 3-point shooters that that a lot of times can't get the job done if they get cold. We've seen it happen. If you look at Oklahoma City Thunder's losses throughout the year, their bench was cold and they lost by double digits, I'm pretty sure. Now, granted, Oklahoma City Thunder do hold a 29-1 record against the East. 29-1 all year. That one loss was a team that got bounced by this Pacers squad in 5 with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I think matchup-wise, I do think the Pacers do possibly have what it takes to win the chip this year. I just think their biggest issue is going to be how they're going to guard Shea. I do think they're probably going to try to defend him up with Neesmith. Neesmith did a marginal job against Jalen Brunson in the next series. As for Halliburton's probably going to be on their 2 guard, so I can't remember who that is off the top of my head. I think it's either Lou Dort or it'd be Jalen Williams. So either that or they're going to throw Pascal on him. So I do think this series probably goes 6 games. As to who comes out and wins it, it's going to be tough. The Pacers, edge-wise, do have a better road record than what they do a home record so far in this playoffs. I think they've only lost 1 game away, and obviously their first 2 games they have to go to OKC, go get that job done. So finals are going to be real interesting. I think it's going to be a lot of very fast-paced play. Both teams are great at turning the ball over and creating points off that. So I'm curious to see if Oklahoma City can show up. They do have a really incredibly young squad. I think the Auburn Tigers this year, not to bring them up, Cole, sorry, buddy, but the Auburn Tigers had a larger average age than what this Oklahoma City Thunder team does. Believe
Well,
it or
they're
not.
also a bunch of old criminals too. Like, let's not forget that. Like, they're old crooked fucks.
That's
So let's not ignore that.
that's a real stat. That's crazy.
I remember seeing it during the Auburn season. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember seeing it. Well, Chad Baker Mazar is like 30. Janai Broom's like 32. So, I mean, that alone is already just pushing that age limit way up.
Crazy.
I think it was by a pretty decent margin too. It was by at least a year and a half or almost 2 years.
It was up there. It was definitely over a year.
So yeah, I mean this is an incredibly young team, but also really the only seasoned guy that's making this run right now is Pascal Siakam. If I remember right, I mean he's the only champ I think out there, maybe besides some deep bench guys I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, but him and the Pacers bruiser they haven't played but maybe 5 minutes all season, James Johnson, he hasn't seen a finals in about 14 seasons. So out of the 16 he's played. But it should be pretty interesting. I'm gonna try to root for the Pacers, just the Eastern Conference team that has kind of stuck it out. So I was kind of praying on the demise of all my friends that are Knicks fans. So yeah, I do think it's going to be a must-watch finals, honestly, because really, I mean, both rosters are healthy. I don't think there's really any injuries, maybe besides like some minor lingering. I think, well, besides a bench player on the Pacers, I think it's Jarris Walker or something, like sprained his ankle. But I mean, aside from that, I do think this is going to be a very fun finals to watch. I don't think it's going to be like the ass beating that my Celtics did on the Mavs last year, but this should be pretty good watch.
Speaking of the Knicks, how you feeling about Tom Thibodeau getting his walking papers today?
So I had seen
we'll be
that.
seeing you.
I wasn't. I want to say I'm surprised, but at the same time, I'm not. I don't foresee the Knicks being happy with how he handled this playoffs. Yes, they beat Boston, and I forget who they had round 1, but doesn't matter. He's stuck to his 5 or 6 man rotation. You're playing against the Knicks, or you were playing against a Pacers team that lacks depth at the center position, and you played Precious Achiuwa, I think, a total of maybe 40 minutes the whole series, if that. And I would even be more confident to say probably under 30 minutes that whole series. So, I mean, for you not to get deep into your bench just because you want to play the starters, I understand you've got a lot of offensive firepower through your first 7. Deuce McBride is sketchy as hell when he plays. Mitch Robinson had a great playoffs. Phenomenal playoffs. I even said last year I was more scared if Mitch would have been healthy and made a deeper playoff run because he's a great center. As much as I hate the Knicks, I will give him his just dues. But yeah, I don't think Tibbs ran that team correctly. They could have been a lot better run personally because they do have some key guys on their bench. They definitely could have played more and they probably could have been a deeper team and probably made the finals, to be brutally honest.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they trailed 12 to 18 playoff games and had
Yeah,
multiple
that
double-digit comeback
that's
wins.
exactly that Knicks team. That's why I was saying, like, obviously, of course, I'm going to stand up for my Celtics, but it's like teams just shot
Fuck yeah.
themselves out of the game. And I mean, aside from Boston, like the Pacers did the exact same thing in the game they lost when they were up, I think 18 at one point, 15 to 18 points. That's all they were doing. They were trying to huck threes and try to increase your lead. It's like, go for the easy shot inside. They're trying to block everything you're putting up anyway. Get to the line, get some free throws. So, I mean, yeah, analytically, it's smart to take the three, but I mean, if you've got a comfortable double digit lead, get the easy buckets. Go to the rack. Run some high pick and rolls, hit some mid range shots. So that Knicks team was very scrappy. I will say that. I will give them a nod to the hat because they were a good team. So as much shit as I did talk on X and everything else, I give good teams good credit even if they are our conference rivals. So
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
brother.
I didn't see that firing coming whatsoever. But hey,
I was I was shocked
Aye.
because
We'll be seeing you.
I mean it was his he led the Knicks to a 50-win season for the first time. I think it said since 2000. I think was their last 50-plus win season. So, I mean, you're even dating back there, early 2010s when they had that, I mean, absolutely monster squad with Melo, J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert. I mean, not to bring him up, but, Lynn Sanity when all that was going on, Tyson Chandler. I mean, they had a group, couldn't even crack 50 wins, but you get 50 wins with Jalen Brunson and Cat.
yeah,
Not to Tibbs, but again, I really don't agree with his coaching style whatsoever. So, surprised, not really, but I mean, as a front office guy, I mean, last year you had guys getting injured all throughout the playoffs, and then this year you couldn't get the job done when you acquired Mikal Bridges from the Nets, and then you also got OG Anunoby from the Raptors. So, and you didn't want to play your bench that they built up over the last two or three seasons.
Yeah, the minute load's the issue that he's got.
Exactly. Yeah.
But he's
I mean,
full coach.
he's playing his guys, I think, an average of like 40 minutes, his starters at least 40 minutes or more. I mean, this isn't a game of 2K. You don't have your fatigue turned off, and you're just playing your 5 starters 48 minutes, and unfortunately 2 of them foul out, so you gotta just play 2 random guys. It doesn't work like that.
absolutely. Before we get out of here, let's touch on the Women's College World Series. We got an all Texas title game, Texas versus Texas Tech. For the first time in 4 years, OU will not be in the Women's World Series final, which is
About,
Yeah, that's crazy.
crazy.
about
What a
time.
run. What a run.
Crazy. That also brings the question: what do y'all feel about the World Series being in Oklahoma every year?
Hate it.
I think it's just cheesy, man. Especially when that's kind of my argument too with how the SEC championships in Georgia and all those years when it was West and East SEC, Georgia's playing in their backyard for fucking a conference championship. I think the same thing for Oklahoma. They're historically pretty damn good at softball, but yet the World Series is there. So it's why aren't these sites on a rotational basis? I mean, I've kind of said this before, but I think conference championships. I think any championship games really should be on a rotational basis. I don't think it should be one spot permanently. I know that's logistically complicated, but the NCAA is a multi-billion-dollar industry, so I'm sure they can figure it out, right?
I think
Yeah,
I agree.
absolutely.
I would like Omaha to stay in Omaha.
Yeah, I
There's a
mean,
college
Yeah,
there, University of Omaha. You got Creighton, but neither of them are. To me, where the Women's World Series is at would be like if you played the Men's College World Series in Austin.
yeah. I mean, I
yeah,
guess
It'd
I
be
don't have
like
a problem with
Florida.
Omaha. I guess Omaha I don't have a problem with, but that that's the outlier, right? That's the one that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, well, it's dropping the World Series in the best team in the country's backyard and going you get free home games.
Yeah,
It'd be like if you put the College World Series in Baton Rouge or in Austin or in Tallahassee. It'd be like, well, these teams are
Somewhere
going
it's
to
like a
make it a
baseball
lot.
school.
And
Yeah,
it's a free
right.
home game.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Shout out to it's also the first interstate national championship in softball in history. First time two teams from the same state.
Damn.
I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
That's pretty interesting. Did not know that. Cool deal.
I am excited for it. Probably the most excited I've ever been about women's softball. I did get pretty excited when we did play Oklahoma a couple years back, but they ended up winning the series. Texas only got one win out of it, but we'll see. We're playing old rival from the Big 12 in Texas Tech with their $1 million pitcher that they got,
Yeah, that'd be
who
interesting.
has pitched every single game of the College World Series so far.
That girl's fucking shoulder gotta be hurting, right?
She's a
That
stud.
that's absurd. I'd seen that stat and watched a couple videos on her today.
Yeah, she's a stud. I don't think she's ever beat though.
I didn't hear what you said.
I don't think she's ever beat Texas. I think she lost to Texas when she was at Stanford, and I want to say she's lost to him at Tech.
Mm.
I think she's 0-2 or
Find
0-3.
out.
So
It should be a good one.
So the
Should be
ultimate
a good one.
revenge game then. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
let's hope
hearing.
Pete, hope she don't go Will Howard mode.
We'll see. We'll see.
Mm.
I mean, hey, we got Tegan Conva, who's just been killing it, and hats off to her the way she played her last or her game for the last game when Texas played with getting a win over OU after the passing of her grandmother that morning. Fucking hell of a game she played. But Texas is kind of on fire right now, so we'll see how it plays out. Should be a fun one.
Texas hot.
I don't know of anything else that I got for them. What y'all got, guys?
No, I do have one important thing to bring up. Pete, if you scoot to the side, you got a Tennessee hat behind you. That's all I want to say. Preach.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a Texas hat, but hey, that's a nice Arkansas hat you got on as well. Anything else? Oh, you got to turn.
I didn't realize their nicknames
You
were
got
the
to turn it to the
Crimson.
side.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like the Braves or something. I don't know if Braves were Crimson either. That's weird.
This is why
Weird.
I wear this one during baseball season just for that.
All right, guys. You got anything else before we close out?
Don't
Gucci, brother. Roll down,
Don't-
brother. Roll down.
We'll catch y'all next time, guys. Y'all have a good one. Hug 'em.
First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. Y'all better listen up. This sports talk talking tough. So if you got a cup, go on and raise it up. I'll raise one with you as we talk about the sports. It's raining stats and rumors. Let us give you the report. This is First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces.